Charisse, that's correct. If you can see behind me here, the elevated portion of I-10 that intersects with 51 here in Laplace, that is still closed at this hour, and there were some sheriff's deputies as well as Louisiana State Police that have been out there all day making sure that people aren't entering that on-ramp and making sure that folks know that it is for sure closed. Now, if you look around me, you may notice there are no more snow flurries. It finally stopped snowing. I thought maybe it may never stop, but it finally did, and so visibility has greatly improved, but that doesn't mean that you should leave your house, and I'll show you exactly why. Look at the conditions in this parking lot. We are in the Waffle House parking lot because it's the only restaurant that's open in town, and you can see this slush that started to form. This is all going to refreeze overnight. It's going to especially make our parking lots as well as our walkways slicker than snot, so you aren't going to want to get out on any of that. Obviously, here in Louisiana, we're not used to this type of weather. We're not used to, having those items on hand such as salt and sand to get to our sidewalks and our patios and things like that. So even stepping outside your home tomorrow morning, you're going to want to be super, super careful. Now here in Laplace, here in St. John Parish, the entire parish, there is a curfew that goes into effect starting at 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. That was decided by the parish president as well as the sheriff earlier today. So that's the big update that we got from them. So be aware of that. You're not supposed to be out on the roads. If you are, deputies are going to stop you and ask you where you're going. Is it an emergency? Now, earlier today, we did hear from the parish president that there was a fire. We were able to stop by that home. Take a look at this video that we shot earlier today. This is what was left of that home. We were told that that fire started due to a chimney issue. Thankfully, we did learn that the man who lived inside that house is able to get to shelter of some kind. He's not staying in the home now. So that is the good news there. And obviously, there was no injuries in that to report, which is also great news at this hour. So that is one thing that we're going to be looking at very, very closely as we go into these overnight hours as people try to stay warm. They're looking at ways to stay warm, and you shouldn't be using those space heaters unless overnight when you go to sleep. You should be cutting those off. Again, only plug in a space heater if you don't, or exactly directly to a plug-in. You should not be using any extension cords with space heaters, and you should not be using your stove to heat your home. So there's a few different things to keep in mind overnight as you are trying to stay warm. Now, I do want to mention that tomorrow morning, obviously, we're telling you don't get out on the roadways, but if there's an emergency and you feel like you've got to go somewhere, I want to show you a few things to keep in mind because, again, we're not used to this here. So this car here, this is our news unit. You're going to have some trouble when you open the doors. You heard that? It might be a little bit frozen. So one thing that you can do, obviously, if you have an ice scraper, they're not super common here in Louisiana. Ice scraper, this side's really nice to get the snow off. This side's nice to use on the ice. So you're gonna wanna do that, as well as I have some different things to show y'all. This is 2 parts rubbing alcohol, 1 part water. You can spray it on. It helps kind of loosen up some of that ice, helps it melt because alcohol actually lowers the temperature at which it freezes. So that's some good stuff to know. And then if all else fails, ask your girlfriend, your mama and them, whoever, for a hair dryer. You can get it on an extension cord out there, blow dry those handles and those doors if you're unable to get into your car. So a few different ways to take care of business if you absolutely have to go somewhere tomorrow. But again, these conditions right now, as things are kind of slushy and we expect them to refreeze overnight, not looking great. Right now, as I mentioned, Waffle House is the only place that's even open in Laplace. The convenience store across Highway 51 completely shut down at this point. So there's really nowhere to go if you are wanting to get out. And at this point, everyone's seen the snow. Everyone should have taken it in, gotten those lovely pictures that we'll cherish forever. Now's the time to heed the warning, stay home, don't drive, don't get out on the roads, and stay warm, most importantly. Reporting live in Laplace, Lily Cummings, WWL, Louisiana.
All right, Lily, thank you so much. Some good information there. I mean, you've been doing a great job, and those tips are certainly helpful. Again, hopefully people don't need to actually use them.
Yeah, and rain, sleet, or snow, Waffle House will be open.
That's right.
Apparently.
Yes.